everyone. Welcome to another edition of Boss in Business with myself, Nadine, from Ace Entrepreneurs. So today is really exciting. We have our first male guest. So I really can't wait to talk to him. We've got Warren Howell from Wo Fermentary. Hi, Warren.
Hello. Hi. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, no, this is really exciting. So why don't we start by you introducing yourself and tell us who you are, what you're doing, and all about your business.
Oh, yep. So as Nadine said, my name's Warren Howell. I'm basically the founder of Wo Fermentary. It's a probiotic beverage, a food and beverage company. We make water kefir at the moment, which is basically a fizzy health drink, if you want to put it as simple as that. Is fermented. So essentially I use live bacteria and sugar and leave it for a few days and flavor that water, remove some of the bacteria, and then bottle it. So as a result you get a fizzy beverage with live cultures and bacteria that help your gut. So I'm a food safety technologist by profession, so I work in the food industry. Essentially, I look at making sure that food is produced safely and making sure that people are trained to actually produce food and handle food in the correct way.
Wow. It's so cool. That was my next question. It was going to be, what did you study? Because I saw when did you graduate? Was it just a couple of years ago or last year?
Yeah, literally just a couple of years ago. So I graduated in 2017, I want to say. Yeah, 2017. It feels like a blur.
How many? It's 3 years ago. And so when you graduated, did you have this business in mind, or is this something that happened over the last 3 years?
It's something that happened in the last 3 years. So being able to, I've always wanted a food business because I always loved food and I've always worked with food. Whether it be when I was working at university, I worked in like a small little cocktail making factory, which was quite interesting. But yeah, essentially, being in the food environment and working in food, like I saw lots of products come through the door, and I was thinking, and I was just thinking to myself, a lot of these products aren't actually great. So I just thought,
yeah. You thought you'd make your own. I've never met someone who studied what you've studied. That's so interesting. How many years is your course?
So my course was a 3-year course in nutrition, and it was actually in nutrition and food science. So we did cover things like new product development and stuff, but main part of the course that actually attracted me was actually food safety.
Yeah. Okay, and what was it that attracted you about food safety? Is it something you noticed in products or something you're passionate about already?
Yeah, just something in the products itself, just making sure products are compliant and safe so that people can consume them. And also making sure that people know what to do when preparing and making food, because obviously everyone has to eat food. So why shouldn't it not be safe for everyone to consume that food?
So that is interesting. I just looked at your drink. I looked at one video and I was just like, I just love this. It was literally just one video that I saw, and I loved like the way that you describe your brand and the way you put your brand together. Is that something you've done on your own through your own vision, or is it something someone helped you with or you learned on your course?
I would say it's, again, looking at so many products coming through, looking at lots of products, I could see which ones were good and which ones weren't good, as well as experienced buyers that I work close with. So they pretty much kind of like, either, I can't lie, they talk bad about a product or talk well about it. So it kind of like, I'm put in that environment where I know which products look good and compared to the products that don't. So yeah, and then from there I was able to kind of use my own like idea and drawings and like how what I wanted my brand to look like. And I did obviously have a first stage which was simple and it wasn't as good, and I did get feedback on it and the feedback wasn't good, so I just went back to the drawing board. And then me and my friend who's a designer, we like drafted uh, a new, basically a new logo and brand.
I love your logo. So you did a good job. I don't know what it was like before, but this one's good. And I also really like your bottle. It's really simple. Your packaging is really clean. There's been a lot of comments about packaging recently from diverse business owners. This is what I see. I do my research into what's being said about, you know, our community and our products. And I think one of the feedback is the packaging and the labeling and how it, you know, we're used to seeing what we see in the shops, right? And those big brands and the format that things are packaged up in. Some of the products, the newer products, that's a learning curve for them, right? To get their look and feel the same way as the products you'd see in the shop. However, your product, I could just pick that off the shelf. Like, I feel like it's just, I feel like, you know, you see an array of products, it would just fit right in. And so do you have something on the back? Do you have ingredients or instructions on how to use it, or what's on the label?
Yes, so the label that's currently there was a label that's pretty much it's a temporary solution to my long-term problem, which is to have everything on one label and for it to be clear. What I did find is that the attraction is that it's a clear label. You can see what you're buying, which a lot of people love. But the only thing is, being an entrepreneur, you're priced out of buying lots of clear labels. That's probably one of the most expensive things you could buy. So what I did is I've actually drafted a whole new label and a whole new concept, which again will have that mold where it fits into a professional label. Which your normal or professional products you would usually find on the shelf. But again, that's just using my experience in what food safety, knowing what is compliant on the label, and also just using my ideas around what we can do for like having an amazing label that stands out and is clear. And hopefully I should have that on my Instagram, and then can go away with that and just leave it as that's the standardized label. Because even when I do look at other brands, you can see where they've evolved over time. I think with mine, you see where I've kind of evolved, and then you'll see what I'm going to do in the future. And
Wow. Wow, that's exciting. I can't wait to see it. I would encourage anyone to go and look at the Wo Fermentery brand label. If you need inspiration, even if you need it right now before it gets changed, go and have a look and then look at yours and then like bridge the gap between the two. It's not everybody, but you know, we have to, just like you said, we have to listen to feedback. And we have to take that on and not see it as like criticism. It's actually how to improve. That's the way I always look at it, unless it's obviously facetious, but most time it's that. Another reason I found your brand interesting is health. The health food industry is $1 billion industry, right? To get into that industry is difficult, and to be unique is something to be applauded. So it seems like you've gone in that direction. You've kept it very, very simple. How would you answer questions people would say about using sugar inside your brand? Because often sugar's seen as not the best addition to a beverage, but you're using it in a different way, right? Tell me.
So there's the way I'm using the sugar is I'm using it to feed the bacteria that consume that sugar to pretty much make the drink fizzy, help the bacteria to survive, and that's what they feed off of. That's what keeps them alive. So essentially, when I do put sugar into my drink, that content is being reduced. So it's quite an interesting way to actually use sugar, where a lot of brands or in a normal drink or most normal drinks, you just put the sugar into the drink and it sits there, and then obviously the shelf life goes over time. But this is just literally for the purpose of making sure that the bacteria can survive within the beverage.
Amazing. And currently, where are you selling your products at the moment?
So currently, I've been selling it in Southeast London to people who reach out to me on my Instagram, and then out of that, I managed to get a shop, Beetroot and Beans, in Forest Hill, and that's where we are 300 ml bottles. And you were mentioning about like compliance and information on the bottle label itself. So I do put that information in terms of just a little cue card with the information that's needed. So it will have the nutritional information, ingredients information, allergens, because I produce it in an environment that isn't free from nuts. So I have to make that clear to everyone. And also I obviously promote the health benefits, which is it's vegan, it's good for the gut, and it's lower in sugar. So yeah.
I also love it because I don't drink dairy, and it's actually very difficult to get the benefits of what's in your drink in a non-dairy form. So that's another reason I think it's quite a nice addition to health food and beverages as well. I'm just very impressed. I'm very impressed with your product.
Thank you.
So is this what you wanted to do? I know you studied it, but how did you fall into food and being an entrepreneur? How did this all begin?
So being an entrepreneur has always been something that I've wanted to do, but I just didn't know what it would be in. And I did like have other concepts of drinks. So for example, like your normal kind of sorrel drink or ginger drink, and I didn't really find it as unique. There wasn't really USP. It's been done quite a lot, and yeah, it's quite hard to get into that market. But with fermented beverages, it's very new. It's like it's a new option. It's a great concept that just needs to be kind of educated to a lot of people, which is probably one of my hurdles. But yeah, that was the main thing. And beverages, I just, it's a hot day. It's always good to have a drink.
What's your big ambitions for the brand? Where do you want to take? Where do you see it as your ultimate goal? Like, where do you see this when you're going to be like, I've made it, I've done it, I've achieved it?
For me, when I think I've made it is when I can support myself selling product, and also just have people whose lives have changed because of drinking the beverage. So yeah, that's when I think I'll be I think I've made it when those two things are achieved.
Okay, that's great, and I'm glad that you said it's about changing people's lives, because we do need alternatives. We don't all just want to have the same products and the same brands. You know, we're interested in trying something new, so we need more. You know, we need more brands like yours to come so we can start trying them. Education will come. I feel like you're doing a really good job on your Instagram, just with like the videos of how you make the beverages and talking about the benefits of it as well. That comes with just basically what you're doing. And then also being a first mover not first mover, but I mean, I'm not completely versed on the fermented industry, but being one of the first movers, that's a great advantage for you, because you get to set the scene about what fermented means, what it can do for you. So, you know, it is a challenge, but also it's a great position to be in, because you can dictate what people say.
Yeah.
So do you work as well as having your brand, or are you mainly focused on that?
I work as well. Yeah, I work as well. So I do both. But it's like looking at how to push my brand to be bigger, and how do I scale up, and how do I create not the option, but create the brand, or make the brand bigger, so that people are more aware, and we can get more people on board.
Scaling is your biggest challenge, or do you have another business challenge?
Scaling and education are the biggest challenges. Scaling, because you need space, and you need time and space to be able to make the drink, because it's not an instant process. It takes a few days to actually produce the drink itself. And then education, because people aren't aware of this drink yet. They know kombucha, but they've not heard of water kefir. So it's education, and how do you get that across? Those are the two big challenges.
Do you know how you're going to address them, or they are still challenges you're working on?
No, I think I know how I'm going to address them. Scaling, I've been going to lots of different manufacturers and seeing what they do. I've recently went to Agua de Madre. So she, Nicola, the owner, is like, they've got like a massive space. Well, I think it's a massive space, and they produce lots and lots of bottles of water kefir. Whereas, and I've also been in contact with Josh from Momo Kombucha, and so it's like going to all these sites and seeing how they've grown, and what they did to grow. So that is kind of the educational piece for me of how to scale up. And then the next part of that is just looking at how do I teach people. So to address it, maybe putting it into the simplest form, which is flavored health fizzy water. That's the simplest form it could be in, because people then can correlate flavored water with being fizzy and also having a health benefit.
Yeah. Okay, so you're working on your strap line at the moment. We're having a session, like we're having. That sounds cool. That sounds like good ways to like attack the problems, and going and seeing what your competitors are doing, if you can, because you can't always do that. But seeing what they're doing is just so helpful. And it sounds like they have seen you as part of the team, not as a competitor that's coming that could at one point take over them or be on par with them. But they're actually like, come in, we're going to show you what we've done. And how did you know that they would be okay with doing that? Did you just ask them and see what happened?
I just asked. Well, Nicola actually reached out to me, because again, I think in this space where it's not a Coke or a Fanta or a pressed juice, for example. It is more or less teamwork. So we've got to work as a team. So for example, Agua de Madre and London Fermentary as well. She, I can't remember her name, but lady who owns it basically makes water kefir as well. It's about education. So the more people or the more brands that are out there making it visible, the more it helps the community rather than helping themselves.
So it sounds like it's good when it's smaller growing vertical, right? Then if it's like a big overflowing vertical, they may be less inclined to help you. But the fact that you're one of the first movers means together wins, right? More of you, more choice, more space on supermarket shelves. Speaking of which, is that one of your bigger goals, to get into some of the larger supermarkets or health food stores?
Yeah, 100%. That's like the pinnacle of any food business, to be able to be in multiple stores across the country, which would be insane. So how do you get there? It's very, very, very difficult. There's a lot of steps, and that's a lot of time that gets put into getting to that stage, and also knowing the right contacts as well. If you know the right contacts, you can know what you need to put in place to get to that stage. But that's pretty much a very far away goal, but it's there.
It's there. It's there. You sound so confident. You
Oh,
don't you don't sound daunted.
no, I think I do believe in myself and I believe in what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So it's just about, yeah, for me, it's literally just about how I approach the situation and how I look towards the future and what, yeah, and resolve any issues.
So I usually ask for some advice, not for me. You can give
Hmm.
me some, but usually I'll say, like, what's your best 3 pieces of advice you would give someone who's looking to move into food or drink or that particular industry that you're in? What 3 pieces of advice would you give them?
I would give them do your research, find your USP,
Yes.
um, and then make sure you produce the food or drink safely.
Safety first.
Yeah, yeah. But if you can, it would be good to be able to get a co-packer. Yeah, a
Okay.
co-packer would help a lot.
What does that mean? Is that like a co-founder? Co
No,
co-packer?
it's literally someone else who does all the packaging and packing for you, and you just pretty much say,
Ah.
there you go. You're the middle man or woman. Yeah, that comes up with the concept,
Yeah.
but someone else packs it and makes it for you and distributes it for you.
Oh, wow. That's
Yeah,
really smart advice. I
yeah,
think sometimes us entrepreneurs, I definitely guilty of it, of trying to do all the jobs in the
yeah,
beginning.
yeah,
And sometimes that has a knock-on effect to quality because you feel like you're
hmm,
trying to do everything. Just me, I'm learning so many things this year just because I'm starting up something new and there's lots of hats I have to put on. And before you can almost tell someone what to do, you have to understand it yourself. I love
hmm,
that piece of advice. If there's someone more experienced that can take over the packing and distribution, that's great advice. Get them to do that for you. And how do you
hmm.
find somebody like that? Where do you advertise?
Um,
Where did you find them?
yeah, I don't have a packer, a co-packer.
Oh, you
Uh,
don't have one yet? Oh, okay.
no, I don't have one yet. So that
Ah,
might be something I'm looking into. Just because it makes a lot of more sense.
yeah,
So you can focus. If you wear too many hats, you might get tired. So if you have a co-packer,
yeah,
they can pretty much do everything. Well, the packing side for you. You are now in charge of the sales, and you can kind of scale up or yeah, work to scale.
yeah.
Which would be really good as well. So it just takes away one of the responsibilities. But for me, well for the co-packing side, yeah, it would just be really much easier to do
Yeah.
it that way. Yeah,
You meant that when you said the last bit. You were like, it would be.
yeah.
Let's get them. Yeah, I've just hired a couple of people to do like some bits and pieces of work for me, and I don't know why I didn't do it sooner. I'm just like, why
Hmm.
have I been struggling? I'm sure you'll feel like that when you get your person too.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Oh, how do you find them? You find them just online, talking to people, um, and yeah, just search on Google. Google's like the answer to
Yeah.
most things. Yeah, if you search for it, you can most probably find it. But yeah, co-packers would probably be the way forward, and then that way you can address the consistency issues and anything
Mhm.
else. It like makes things much easier, a much smoother process.
3 great pieces of advice. So that's
Mm,
excellent. I always ask about people's backgrounds and just to
mhm.
see, what was the environment for you growing up? Did your parents play a role in this entrepreneurial spirit that you have? What was what was growing up like, and how did that impact the person that you've become in terms of being an entrepreneur today?
I grew up with my mum and dad. In terms of entrepreneurial, my mum wasn't really, no one really was entrepreneurial around me. I just kind of like gained it myself, if that makes sense. So at school, I saw that people were selling like Kit Kats, for example, and I decided to start selling Kit Kats too. So that was one example of how I just became a bit entrepreneurial and like decided to do my own thing. But yeah, grew up in Southeast London. Yeah, went to secondary school. I never really thought of having a business when I was younger, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just more or less interested in just going to university and then going. I didn't know what I was going to do after, but I did like nutrition and I did like food. So yeah, yeah. But I grew up in a good environment and yeah, a good area. Gatford is a nice area. So
Yeah. I don't know Catford myself. I don't. I'll take your word for it. My sister is in South London though. So were they just doing like every sort of working full time somewhere, or was your mum part time or looking after you, or how? What did you see when you saw them working? Like, what was your thought of what they did? Did you even know what they were doing?
No, I don't think I really had a concept of them working as like and not being entrepreneurial. I just thought that yeah, my mum's a teacher, so yeah, she usually have the holidays off, and my dad works in like a Ford factory, so yeah, in terms of like them working, yeah, it was just pretty much normal for me, but I didn't have like a mentor or someone who I looked towards
Yeah.
and said, "Oh yeah, I want to be like them in terms of like business." I guess I did really find The Apprentice one of the shows that drew me into being an entrepreneur, because like you've got a lot of candidates that are quite good and have their businesses, and it's interesting. Yeah.
It's funny you say The Apprentice. I was thinking of, Dragon's Den. I could
Yeah.
just like see you on there with your brand, like talking about your brand and stuff. So yeah, these shows are actually quite good. I usually ask who inspired you to become. It's interesting what you said, because you said it wasn't really anybody that you saw. It was just a show with people on it that were doing well and striving to have their businesses. Would you say that who inspired you in some ways?
Yeah, I would definitely say that they are the people that inspired me.
Yeah.
The yeah, yeah. Just watching, I just like the fact that each task or most tasks would have them make a business from like for a few days, like in a week, they'd make a business and then they'd have to start selling something or producing a product, or doing something around a product, which, or yeah, that always kind of was interesting to me, how they could do that like really quickly. And sometimes is a massive success, sometimes it's a failure, but yeah.
Did you always think? I was always like, oh, I could do that this weekend. Like, like, you could put one of these businesses together and just go and sell in King's Cross or whatever, because you'd see them there and then they'd be like, I made £5,000 or something. You'd be like, oh, I could do that if I just got my mates together.
Yeah, definitely. I think one of the most recent years was they made like a dog walk-in or dog company or something like that.
Dog
They go
grooming.
around to
Yeah.
each house and like clean up their gardens and go to the park and do some other stuff. So yeah, that was pretty cool. Yeah.
So what keeps you going? You're obviously a young man, right? You've only graduated a few years ago. What is keeping you going and motivated to work on your business, to work on yourself, to keep learning? What's pushing you?
I guess I just want the achievement. So being able to support myself is what keeps me going. So that's an achievement in itself. And after just being able to see my brand on the shelf in most places, and just enjoy looking after myself and being responsible for myself. That's what keeps me motivated. It's very difficult and it's tiring, but I think do it. I just have to keep setting goals. Shows like Dragon's Den and Shark Tank are really, really good for any business, because you can kind of see the faults in your own business. So by watching those shows, you can kind of yeah, you can kind of evaluate yourself and then look for any faults, and then you can address those faults and see if it is a business that you have to say, okay, this is a hobby, but how do you make it a business, or is an actual solidified business?
Yeah. Okay. Good point. Good point. I like those shows. I don't know when they're coming back on. Apprentice, I think, is postponed, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
I guess they can't do all the traveling and everything,
No,
everything basically in the show.
exactly, exactly.
But Dragon's Den, I don't know what happened to Dragon's Den. I don't know if I know when it's on. It just disappears and then it turns back up. So I don't. What do you do for fun? You're a young person. What do you do when you're not working?
So I just meet up with my friends, play football,
Yeah.
cycling. To be honest, I fell off my bike the other day, which was pretty
Oh.
bad. Yeah, apart from that, yeah, just I like doing sporty activities.
Yeah.
All the time. Yeah.
Do you think that makes you feel more energetic towards working? Like gives you energy to do the working side of it by being more fit and staying fit and healthy?
Yeah, I'd agree. I definitely agree. It's being healthy is really important. And I think it just takes your mind off of things. So, like thinking of everything that you're towards your business can be like quite a daunting task. But if you have that bit of exercise or something else to take your mind off of your business, then it really does help.
Yeah. Have you heard of work-life balance? They call it work-life balance when you like do equal things out of work, equal things and not to do with work, as well as like doing your work stuff so that you can work really hard when you need to concentrate and focus, and then you like have complete downtime and don't think about work when you're not in work. I guess some people get quite stuck just being like, I've got to make it happen, I've got to push, and then they just don't relax, and then they kind of like their mind gets blocked. They can't be as creative as they want to be because they're not allowing their mind to have a rest, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
I agree.
I
Definitely agree. Yeah, you've definitely got to do something else and have downtime. Otherwise, you can be in some trouble.
Yeah, I would definitely say so. So do you make your drink yourself at the moment? I think I saw you doing it in the garden. That was probably for the video, but where are you making it at the moment?
So I make it myself and I make it at home.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the main concept now. But again, it's working around how do I scale up and get bigger. Yeah,
Yes, get bigger. And how,
get
like
bigger.
for your branding and marketing and stuff, is that
Mm-hmm.
something you also just do yourself? How do you know like how often to post or when to post or what to post? Is that just what you feel like posting you do?
I would say for branding and marketing, I've looked at kind of different ways to market, and I look at bigger brands than myself and different brands that pretty much are looking for targeting the same kind of demographic
Mm-hmm.
and group. So I kind of look at them and use them as an example.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, that's the way I kind of do it, and it is done by myself. Now, hopefully, I can help get someone to help me out, because again, that is something that can be outsourced, and
Yeah.
someone else can help.
Yeah. You're like someone else.
Yeah.
Not me. So who are you targeting your drink at? Who is your target customer at the moment?
Target customer. Target customers. Women. Women between the age of 20 to about 50.
Okay.
So yeah, that's my target customer.
Mm-hmm. And what, do you think you have to do certain things to attract them, specifically women?
Yeah, I think I do.
Yeah.
So being able to see, I think one of the things that I haven't done, which I should do, is show the women that are purchasing the drink, because that way you can kind of see yourself in them, and then it's more or less prompts you to say, oh, I can also purchase this drink because she is purchasing this drink. So yeah, I definitely say women are my main target audience, and I could do a lot more to address that.
I think it's very women friendly. I mean, I saw it and I liked it straight away. I'm in the bracket and I'm a woman, so I think so far so good. The brand is great. There's no reason why it isn't hitting women. And do you think there's a more specific need for gut health, if that's the way you call it, for women versus for men? That's your target. Yeah.
I would say the reason why it works well for women is because the way I've shot it, in terms of it's more an outdoors experience, wine glasses, also could double as placement for alcohol or champagne. So it kind of has that appeal and has that look and feel to it. Whereas if I was targeting men, I think I would go more or less down the active man route. So like before sports or after the gym, or so that kind of route. But it has its place in like a lot of areas, and it's just being able to kind of target those areas. So look at who, like for example, bars. If I started to put it into cocktails, who's going to bars? So is it young people, the older people? Is it like who are those people? And then how do I shape the drink to fit them and catch their eye?
Wow. You did you study marketing? Did you
No.
No.
Zero.
Talk like someone that's been doing marketing for a long time. It's really cool. You got it all down. It's just a case of, as time goes by, it's just going to get better and better. I'm going to send you a link after this to apply for funding. ACE, we have we're looking to fund 10 entrepreneurs from all the applications we get through. So you should definitely apply for that. I'll send you the link after. It's for great businesses that are at the entry level position, which I think you'll be that. And yeah, apply for funding, say what you need the funding for, and then, you know, with all good intentions, we reach our funding goal, then, you know, you're in a great position. And without applying, don't know if you can get it, right?
Yeah,
got to be
exactly.
it. You got to be in it.
Yeah, it's true.
Mantras. Everyone talks about their mantras. Do you know mantras? What I mean by that?
Like a saying that,
Yeah.
like for example, the first rule of Fight Club, you don't talk about Fight Club.
Yeah, good movie.
Yeah.
Great movie. Yeah, like that. Like, do you have one of those that just keeps you, I don't know, just something you just think in the back of your head every now and again when you're working or living, keeps you going?
I don't have like a mantra that I would keep saying, but I would definitely quote my granddad. He always says wonderful. So yeah, that's obviously, it ties into Wo Fermentary, wonderfully Odd Fermentary. So yeah.
Is that why it's named that? Or is it just part of it?
No, it's named Odd Fermentary, but Wo Fermentary is much easier for people. Just Wo. Yeah.
I love that. You haven't spoke about your granddad. So how is he playing this major part? Because he's obviously an important part of your life.
So basically, after university, I went to go stay with him for about a month in Jamaica. And he lives like in the countryside, so it's literally next to nothing. And so I just spent like a whole month with him. We would different activities. We were going up to like the mountain top. We went on hikes. We went to see lots of cousins. He was telling me about the history of his family, where he comes from. And yeah, he just lives off of his land pretty much. He has like over 100 coconut trees, and then he which he pretty much planted majority of them himself, like when he was younger. And he like pretty much makes coconut-ish dishes every night, or something to do with coconut every single night. But yeah, he's like a really he's a big inspiration, because obviously without him, like my family wouldn't have lived in the UK. And yeah, he's someone who's like really inspirational to me. And yeah, he's also on a little bit of an entrepreneur himself, like, yeah. So that he can also be added to the list of people who inspire me.
Yeah, I think he is. I think he is the one. I think he's probably trumps the other guys, because maybe you wouldn't have noticed them had you not had Grandad, right? Saw him put that little seed was planted, and then next thing you know, you're like, oh, just like I like other entrepreneurial stuff. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Keep bumping into Jamaican people, because I'm Jamaican too. Well, like you, my family are Jamaican. I'd love to stay there a month. But I did go, my uncle and auntie lived in the country. And when you were talking, I was like, yeah, there's nothing. And when it's dark, because there's no lights, there's no nothing. It's just like, but it sounds cool. I'd love to see like the vast landscape with all those coconut trees there and stuff. That's cool.
Yeah. I'll try and, so I'm going to go to Jamaica next year. So I'll try some videos and different things when I'm there.
Do that's fab. Did you ever think of doing stuff with coconuts, just because he had coconuts?
I know there's coconut water kefirs, but I'm not really a big fan of coconut. That's the only thing. Like, in terms of like coconut water, yeah, I'm not really a big fan. I don't mind eating things with coconut in it, but yeah, I'm not a big fan of coconut water. So no.
So when your granddad was cooking coconut every night for a month, you were not like, oh, another coconut dish. You were okay with it?
No. After like day 29, you're like, okay, this is a lot. Like trying to sneak in patties in the afternoon and stuff like that. And no. But apart from that, I really didn't mind his cooking. He's an amazing cook. So yeah.
Wow. And you said he's hiking. Like, he sounds like he's has incredible health if he's hiking up in the mountains.
No, he said, basically, I asked him if we could go hiking, and he said, nah, let's not go hiking. And then I went to bed, woke up in the morning, and he was like, oh, let's leave before sunrise. And I was like, what? Yeah, we're going hiking. I don't know if I'm going to make it, but let's go up the mountain. And literally, it was like a steep climb through a very narrow path. Like, people use that path to get down from the mountain to where his village is, but like a whole complete other village up in the mountain. Yeah, he was just showing me, and yeah, it was like it was quite a good trek, and it was very interesting. And because we went on that trek, later on when my auntie went to go visit, he took her up there as well. So he started to seem like he started to go on, like, little journeys to show. Yeah,
that's so cool, because you went over there and like just introduced something a bit different to him. He probably never seen that mountain every day and was like, I'm not gonna, didn't even think I'm gonna climb it. And now he's like offering to take people up on the mountain, your family.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, just kick-started something new for him.
That's so cool. That's so cool. I love that. I love the fact that people are finding their family members as their inspiration. We need to like see more of this happening so that we can be inspired to be more entrepreneurs. It's just about seeing more of us and understanding that everyone is doing something and we can do it and it's achievable. And you've given some really good steps about how to get to those milestones and how to overcome like problems if you get to them. So that's really good. That's really cool. young people sometimes, you know, they finish uni and they're like not sure what they're doing, but like actually you're saying, I know what I'm doing, got my big plan. I got my vision, and you're going for it. It's so good. It's so cool. Oh, okay. So I want to say a massive thank you for coming on and talking about your brand and all the things I just said. It's we, you know, by seeing more people doing this, I feel like we can collectively do more. Do you have a what do you feel about the whole movement of buy black and black owned? Is that something you sit within, or are you just doing your brand regardless of the movement?
It's something that I sit within and definitely support. It's really good to make it clear where to find all of these brands, because before it's very difficult. You would probably look online or look on via word of mouth or Instagram, social media. So yeah, it's quite difficult.
Yeah, it is. Once I spent like 45 minutes looking for one product because I was determined to buy black owned, and I think in the end I was just exhausted and bought it from somewhere. But it's definitely good if we can like have one place. I don't know how it's going to shake out, because I guess lots of people want to do it, and maybe people have been simultaneously working on it and then everyone's gone live at the same time, you know, type of thing.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I was gonna say it's gonna be like eBay and Amazon in a way.
I hope so. That would be amazing.
An eBay and Amazon situation where eBay, you know what you're gonna get. You're pretty much buying like kind of a cheaper. It looks cheaper, but pretty much you can buy the same things on Amazon. But Amazon, it looks a lot more kind of cleaner, and it looks a lot like sleeker, and you're buying a better grade. So it would be interesting. It would be nice having Amazon and eBay for black-owned businesses.
Oh, that would be brilliant. And if we can get that money coming in at that level that we can push back into our community, even better. That would be incredible. We're starting, we're moving, you know, Etsy's got black owned section. I think it's small, but you know, some of these concepts, if we can take them, like you said earlier on, if you look at what someone is doing that you want to emulate, or you want to be in that sphere, and then take that and apply it to what we're doing, that's going to set us up really nicely. So yeah. So I want to say big thanks. Thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing your words of wisdom and your background. Great to see your fellow Jamaican as well. And tell everyone where they can find you and your product.
So you can find me on Instagram at Wo Fermentary. At Wo Fermentary, pretty much. If you type in Wo and then FER, you'll probably find me. And then I do have Facebook as well, so Wo Fermentary Facebook as well. I didn't really get a Twitter. I wasn't sure whether it would see the profile, but yeah, if I do, it would be the exact same thing.
Okay, cool. Last question, what's your thoughts on TikTok? Are you on there, just out of curiosity?
Nah, not on TikTok. Thoughts on it? I think that the TikTok itself isn't like, the platform is cool, but I'm not sure. I heard too many bad things about it, like in terms of bad stories around the Black Lives Matter movement, like the height of it, and certain hashtags. So I just thought, okay, no, I'm okay. And yeah, I don't think I'm the demographic that looks at TikTok as well. That's another thing.
I hear you. Heard. Agreed. Yeah, I heard a couple of things too. I was thinking about it, and then I heard a couple of things and I was like, yeah, no, I think I'm off that. Right. Well, thank you. Take care. This has been another edition of Boss in Business with Warren from Wo Fermentary. Check out his Instagram page, find out where he's selling his products, go and support another amazing Black-owned business, and we'll see you next week for another edition of Boss in Business. Bye.
Bye.